Plants vs Zombies is such an iconic game. Ever since PopCap released it in 2013, it was one of the most beloved zombie-related tower defense games, before it got ruined by EA. So no surprise that the mobile market would take this idea and try to milk it as much as possible. Fruits vs Zombies, Brainbots vs Zombies, Army vs Zombies, Metal Army vs US Zombies, Zombies vs Zombies. But out of all of these weird copies, there was one game that would actually stand out from the rest, and be remembered even to this day. But due to the decisions of the higher ups, it was forgotten about right after its own sequel. And that game was Samurai vs Zombies. Samurai vs Zombies, or SVZ for short, is a tactical mobile tower defense game created by GLU Mobile in 2012. GLU was well known for a plethora of memorable and fun mobile games, until it got bought out by EA. Now they only own like one game. Well, before all that, Samurai vs Zombies was a great game, as it was free to play, had a creative concept and addictive gameplay, and also was fortunate enough to not be ruined by microtransactions or energy systems. Probably because GLU didn't think of it yet at the time. And it was successful enough to get a sequel just a year later. But to get a better understanding of just how good it was, we should start with the first game. In some distant village, a zombie horde was just on the horizon, so the Empress of the land bonds her soul with a sacred gate to enchant it with magic in order to protect the people. However, this was just a backup. To truly save your home and the Empress, you have to defend the gate from the zombie army. You play as the lone samurai lord. As such, you have access to a decent arsenal of weapons, from your trusty katana to your bow and arrow. The game is two-dimensional, so you can only move left and right. Each level is one wave. During a wave, zombies will keep spawning from the portal. You can track the progress of a current wave on the top corner of the screen. The katana is the basic attack, and it's pretty good at close range. And the bow is perfect for attacking at a distance, and also for attacking flying enemies. But you can only do so much. A leader is only as good as their army, so that's where allies come in. There's a gauge that builds up over time, which you could spend on troop production. You'll start off with the simple ones like farmers. They're pretty weak but super cheap, and you can spawn a multitude of these little guys. Once you get farther, you'll be able to unlock more troops, like the priests, which are healers. So they work well with tanks like the Nobunaga and the Panzer Samurai. There's also ranged troops like the bowmen or spear samurai. And how you defend the gate is up to you. And apart from the offense, the game provides a variety of defensive options as well, in the form of towers and magic. Towers can attack from a distance so they can't be destroyed, and magic is abilities that allow you to buff up your troops or deal more damage to hordes of enemies. Personally, I prefer the offensive options, because as Sun Tzu definitely once said, you don't need to defend if there's no one left to attack. After a wave, you earn credits, with there being two types. The main one of course is spent on general upgrades and new troops, and then there's the premium one, because of course there is. Everyone knows that the true mark of a mobile game isn't how good or creative it is, it's about how many microtransactions they can stuff into essentially a glorified flash game. What the hell? I'm sorry, just had flashbacks to another GLU game that I absolutely love, but was ruined by greed. Rest in peace, Zombies 8, my friends. After 5 waves, there's a bonus wave where you're not able to attack, instead relying on your allies to succeed. You can still move around and scout ahead, so it's a nice way to force players to think more, as now they'll have to strategize who and when to summon. Also, before a wave, you can see what enemies will appear, which will help you strategize and bring the right tools for the job. In total, there's 70 waves, with the final wave having you face off against the undead shogun, bringing out the strongest zombies you can muster and having the most health out of all the troops. Once defeated, the village is saved and the Empress is able to reawaken. And that's pretty much it. The game kind of glosses over the story since the main focus was on the gameplay, but it's still a solid game. Plus, after defeating the main story, you actually get a neat little bonus, as you have the option to play as the zombies, hence the whole choose your side poster. Nothing is really different, it's just that now you play on the right side, and all of your troops are zombies.
Are coming.
But it was a nice little reward for completing the game. If something like this was released now, I can already see this being some annoying paid DLC for like $3. Samurai vs Zombies did pretty well in the market. As such, GLU went straight to a sequel and was able to get one out in a year. The zombies have returned stronger than ever and kidnapped the Empress, forcing the samurai to travel to their realm and stop them for good. Now its sequel is kind of hit or miss for some players because it's literally almost the same. About 80% of the game is reused, the graphics and even the mechanics are the same. There's no new troops or magic to use. The only thing that did change was the backgrounds, and also the HUD, which I will admit looks a lot better. But by far the most notable change is the inclusion of more heroes. So instead of just being a samurai, you can play 4 other heroes, each with their own playstyles, which is pretty neat. There was one new feature added that had a lot of potential, which was the multiplayer. The first game showed that it was very possible with the zombie mode. However, there is a catch. It's not real-time PvP. It's more of a Clash of Clans style of multiplayer where you just attack a person's defense. And just like the original story, it was kind of mid. After defeating the Shogun, it turns out that there was more of them and that they took the Empress and now her soul is stuck in the gate. But my question is, how come in the first game it's implied her sleeping was tied to how she merged her soul with the gate in the first place? If she's awake now and being taken away, how is her soul still stuck in there? Did it just forget or something? There's also no zombie mode, probably as multiplayer replaced it, and also because of the last feature, which is endless mode. In the first game, the story ends after reaching wave 70. Meanwhile, SVZ2 ends at a whopping wave 50. Now that seems like less, but that's when the game switches to endless mode. And the best part is, there's no limit to how far you can go. I once saw a video of a guy going to wave 700, which is insane. Like, who would do that? Then I remember I'm also the type of person with over 500 hours in TF2 and 200 plus games as Cinderace in Pokemon Unite, so I can't judge. Also a sequel of a game that is less popular than its predecessor that ends abruptly with no ending and the rest of the game just being in endless mode sounds pretty familiar. Anyway, between both games, what made them so fun and addicting is 2 things: the concept and the appeal of tower defense in general. Let's face it, most zombie stories would realistically end pretty quickly, especially with modern weapons. But that's why a zombie invasion taking place in the past is much more fun, as a world with no gadgets or machines makes surviving a whole lot more interesting. Now pair that with how satisfying it is to build up your defense and troops to overpower the enemy is just plain fun. Plus, unlike most tower defense games where you're just watching them from above, you get to join in on the action and fight alongside your troops. There were a few games that did this, like a personal favorite of mine that's even a third-person shooter, which I think is severely underrated, but I'll save that for a future video. By 2021, GLU would undergo a major change after being bought out by EA Games. In only a year, EA made GLU drop a bunch of old or less successful games in favor of focusing on their best sellers. And since Samurai vs Zombies wasn't big enough to even get a Wikipedia page, it was part of the chopping block, along with many other beloved games. Like, remember just a few minutes ago I was complaining about what happened to Zombies Ate My Friends? Well, fun fact, a developer from that game actually commented on my video, saying that not only was it deemed unprofitable, but they were forced to shift their attention on their biggest IP, which was Kim Kardashian Hollywood. They chose this over this. Like, I know Zam's energy system was atrocious, and its pacing was kinda bad because of it, but it still had so much potential. But there is a silver lining. Thanks to a subscriber, I was told of the game getting ported to PC by fans. A video by that guy explains it much better, both a bit about how it was possible and other mobile games from the past, which you should definitely check out if you're interested. All in all, Samurai vs Zombies was a fun little series to cover, and it's a game I definitely would have loved playing back then. And as of now, GLU isn't really up to much since it's essentially become part of EA. But the fact that many of its old games are still being archived or restored gives me hope that one day all of GLU's games will come back to its former glory. Without all the annoying stuff, that is.
Trash!
Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this short look into an underrated tower defense game. Zombie related games was always a personal favorite of mine, so it was nice looking it up. Especially since it reminded me of another game I absolutely loved called Castle Storm, which is the same thing but better because it had destructible environments and customizable castles. And I could go on and on about all of its features, but I'll save it for another time. As always, if you enjoyed the video, please remember to leave a like and subscribe so I can get noticed by the algorithm. And if you really want to support the channel, consider becoming a member so I can keep making videos like this one and be able to make them even better. Additionally, I'll be doing a few new things to keep in touch with you guys. like weekly polls. Every Tuesday and Saturday, I'll be hosting polls of random stuff, either about mobile games or future videos. I'm also starting to post again on Twitter or X or whatever you want to call it, if you want to see the random stuff that I'm up to. I'm still thinking about what to post on Insta, but I'll let you all know when it's ready. Maybe I'll just post about my fat cat or something. And any other details will probably be in the community tab. Thanks again for watching, and until next time, I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care.